Ladies and gentlemen, life is full of opportunities to make a change. To step into the next level of success and self-love, we must acknowledge something powerful: the way we speak, the way we feel, and the way we manage our finances. These three forces, your mouth, your mood, and your money, are not just random parts of your life. They are the drivers of your destiny. Today, we're diving into why these three elements are the foundation of your life and how mastering them can bring about the life you've always dreamed of. Because when you control your mouth, mood, and money, you step into your power like never before. Our words are incredibly powerful. They have the ability to shape our reality, influence our mood, and affect the people around us in ways we might not even realize. We've all heard the saying, "Your words have power," but have you ever stopped to truly think about what that means? The words you speak to yourself, to others, and even in the silence of your own mind, are laying the foundation for the life you're creating. What if I told you that the secret to success, happiness, and fulfillment is in the words you speak? Consider this: how many times have you found yourself in a bad mood, only to catch yourself saying something negative like, "I can't do this," or "This always happens to me"? The moment you say these words, you are reinforcing that negativity, making it more real in your life. It's like you're inviting failure, disappointment, and frustration to sit at the table with you. But the opposite is true too. When you speak words of encouragement, positivity, and empowerment, you begin to build an entirely different reality. Think about the words you say to yourself when you look in the mirror. Do you look at your reflection and think, "I'm proud of how far I've come"? Or do you focus on the flaws, the mistakes, the things that didn't go as planned? The truth is, the way you speak to yourself sets the tone for your entire day. If you wake up and speak life over your life, you are starting the day with intention. Your words create the energy you will carry throughout the day. A simple affirmation such as, "Today is going to be a great day," or "I am capable of overcoming any challenges that come my way," can shift your perspective completely. Take Sarah, for example. She's a working mom who juggles a career, family, and everything in between. One morning before she heads to work, she stands in front of the mirror and tells herself, "I've got this. I'm strong. I am capable of balancing everything I need to do today." She says this not just once, but throughout the day. When challenges arise, instead of thinking, "This is too much, I can't handle it," Sarah uses her words to reframe the situation. "I can do this. I've done hard things before. This is just one more challenge to conquer." By choosing to speak these words, Sarah is not just managing her mood, she is actively controlling the course of her day. Her words give her power, and she is able to move through her day with a sense of calm and confidence. Now let's think about the words we speak to others. How often do we catch ourselves in conversations where we complain, criticize, or express doubt? The words we speak to others have the power to either lift them up or tear them down. Imagine being in a conversation with a friend who is going through a difficult time. If you say, "I don't know how you're going to make it through this," you're reinforcing their fear and self-doubt. But if you say, "You've been through tough times before, and you came out stronger. I know you will get through this too," your words give them hope. You remind them of their strength, and suddenly the situation feels more manageable. This same principle applies in the workplace. If your boss tells you, "You've been doing a great job and I really appreciate your hard work," those words can instantly boost your confidence and motivation. But if the words are negative, like, "You're not getting the results I was expecting," it can knock you down. Our words can either build someone up or break them down. As you speak to the people around you, choose your words carefully, because they will create an environment that either fosters growth and positivity or breeds negativity and discouragement. Have you ever noticed how certain phrases make you feel empowered while others make you feel small? Words like, "I believe in you," "You've got this," or "You are capable of achieving greatness," leave you feeling inspired. On the other hand, phrases like, "You can't do that," "That's not possible," can make you question yourself and your abilities. If you've ever been told you're not good enough or you'll never make it, those words stick with you, don't they? They echo in your mind for days, sometimes even years. But what if we chose to be the ones who speak words that lift others up? What if instead of focusing on someone's shortcomings, we spoke words that encourage them to rise above? When we speak with intention, with love, and with empowerment, we start to change the narrative not just in our own lives, but in the lives of those around us. Your words also shape your future. Think about where you want to be in 5 years. Do you speak the words that align with that vision, or do you speak words of doubt and fear? If you want to achieve something, say it out loud, declare it. Say, I am working towards my dream, or I am creating the future I desire. The act of speaking these words brings them into existence. It starts the process of manifestation. But if you say, it will never happen for me, or I'm not capable, you are blocking the very thing you want to manifest. Take control of your life by taking control of your words. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or only speak positive things all the time. We all have moments of frustration and self-doubt, but it's about creating awareness around what you say, especially when things get tough. Be mindful of how your words influence your actions, your mood, and your future. Speak with intention. Speak with love. Speak with confidence. Your words are the most powerful tool you have in creating the life you desire. Every time you speak, you are sending a message to the universe about what you believe, what you want, and who you are. So why not speak words that align with the greatness within you? Our mood is the invisible force that influences every aspect of our lives. It's the energy we carry with us, whether we're aware of it or not, and it colors the way we see the world, interact with others, and make decisions. Think about it. How many times have you woken up in a bad mood, and suddenly everything seemed more difficult? The coffee machine malfunctioning, the traffic jam, the missed phone call, it all feels like the universe is working against you. But when you wake up in a good mood, with a sense of gratitude and optimism, even the smallest inconveniences seem more manageable. Your mood is not just something you experience, it is something that controls the narrative of your day, shaping the energy you put out into the world. The key to success, happiness, and resilience lies in your ability to control your mood. This doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time, but it does mean you have the power to choose how you respond to life's challenges. You can let life dictate your emotions, or you can take control of your emotions and shift your perspective. Your mood is like a switch, and the more you practice switching it from negative to positive, the easier it becomes to turn it on when you need it most. Take the example of a woman named Mia. Mia is a single mother, working a full-time job, managing a household, and raising 2 kids. There are days when everything feels overwhelming, the deadlines at work, the endless to-do lists, and the constant balancing act between personal and professional responsibilities. On those days, Mia could easily slip into frustration, anxiety, or defeat. She could let her mood dictate her actions, and let the weight of her responsibilities cause her to feel powerless. But Mia has learned how to take control of her mood. Every morning, before she starts her day, she takes a few minutes to breathe deeply and set an intention. She says to herself, "Today I choose to focus on what I can control. I choose to approach this day with patience, positivity, and gratitude." By making this simple shift, Mia reprograms her mind to approach the day with a sense of calm and purpose. She doesn't let the little things throw her off course. When things go wrong, instead of getting frustrated, she pauses, takes a deep breath, and shifts her mindset. She doesn't allow the chaos of the world to dictate how she feels. Instead, she controls her emotions, and in turn controls the outcome of her day. This is a practice we can all adopt. The power of mood control lies in the choices we make throughout the day. It's easy to let a bad moment turn into a bad day. It's easy to let one rude comment, one traffic jam, or one mishap throw us off balance. But the truth is, the more we let our mood be controlled by external circumstances, the less control we have over our lives. When we allow our mood to take the driver's seat, we lose our ability to respond with resilience, clarity, and grace. But when we take control of our mood, we unlock a whole new level of freedom. Let's consider how this plays out in the workplace. Imagine you're facing a difficult project with a tight deadline. Your mood could easily slide into stress, anxiety, and frustration. You could let the pressure overwhelm you and lead you to feel defeated. However, by taking control of your mood, you can change the way you approach the situation. Instead of focusing on the stress, you focus on the opportunity. You choose to see this as a chance to showcase your skills, to rise to the challenge, and to demonstrate your ability to handle pressure. By maintaining a positive, focused attitude, you increase your chances of success, and you do so with greater ease. A positive mood can make even the most stressful tasks feel more manageable, and it can also inspire those around you to rise to the occasion. But it's not just in the workplace where mood control plays a crucial role. Consider your relationships. How often do you let your mood affect your interactions with your loved ones? How many times have you snapped at your partner because you were having a bad day? How many times have you taken out your frustrations on your friends, or even your children, because you were feeling overwhelmed? When your mood is negative, your words and actions reflect that energy. But when you take control of your mood, you are more likely to respond with kindness, patience, and understanding. Think about Jason, who recently had a falling out with his best friend. He had been holding on to some unresolved frustrations, and one day they got into an argument. Jason realized, after the fact, that his bad mood had fueled his reactions. He was irritable and defensive, not because of what his friend had done, but because he was carrying unresolved tension from other parts of his life. Jason decided that, moving forward, he would work on controlling his mood before addressing sensitive situations. Instead of letting his emotions dictate his responses, he would take a step back, breathe, and approach the conversation with clarity and calm. This shift allowed him to rebuild his relationship with his friend, not by changing his friend's behavior, but by changing how he responded. The ability to control your mood also directly impacts your health. Constantly living in a negative emotional state can lead to physical symptoms, stress, fatigue, headaches, and even more serious health issues over time. But when you choose to manage your mood, you lower your stress levels, improve your mental health, and ultimately boost your overall well-being. It's not just a mental or emotional shift, it's a physical one too. At the end of the day, your mood is yours to control. It's a muscle that gets stronger the more you practice using it. The more you choose to respond with positivity, the easier it becomes to turn things around when you're feeling low. Life will always present challenges, but how you respond to those challenges is up to you. You have the power to control your mood, and by doing so, you gain control over your life. So the next time you find yourself in a tough situation, remember that you have the ability to choose how you respond. Shift your mood, shift your energy, and watch how it transforms your life. Money is often seen as the ultimate measure of success. It's the tool we use to buy what we need, live the life we want, and ensure a comfortable future. But have you ever stopped to consider how money behaves? How does it flow into your life, and how does it leave? It's not just about earning more or working harder. Money is attracted to the energy you give it. If you want more of it, you need to align your mindset with abundance, not scarcity. The way you think about money, the way you feel about it, and the energy you put out into the world determines how it flows to you. And the good news is that you can change that. You have the power to shift your financial reality. Think about your relationship with money for a moment. What kind of energy do you associate with it? Is it something you fear, something you worry about, or something you appreciate? When you are constantly stressed about paying bills or making ends meet, you are sending out a vibration of lack. You are focused on the scarcity, the shortage, and the impossibility of your situation. This mindset keeps you stuck in a cycle of financial struggle because you are always attracting more of what you are focused on: lack. But when you shift your energy and begin to focus on abundance, gratitude, and possibility, you open the door for money to flow more freely into your life. Let's take the example of Tom, who works as a freelance graphic designer. For years, Tom struggled with financial uncertainty. He'd go through periods where he had plenty of work, and then he'd experience dry spells that left him stressed and anxious. He would think, "There's just not enough work out there for me," or "Clients are hard to find. I'm lucky if I get any business." His mindset was one of lack. He believed that the opportunities were limited, and he felt like he was always just scraping by. One day, after a particularly tough month, Tom realized something. He had been living in a constant state of fear around money. He was always worrying about not having enough. He had a scarcity mindset that was attracting more financial stress into his life. Tom decided it was time for a change. He started practicing gratitude for the work he did have. He began thanking his clients, no matter how small the project was. He celebrated every paycheck, no matter how big or small, and he started to see money as an abundant resource that was always flowing toward him, not something that was running out. He began to focus on the abundance that existed around him, the fact that there were so many businesses that needed design work, the fact that he had the skills to help people, and the fact that he had clients who appreciated his work. As Tom shifted his mindset, something remarkable happened. The projects began to flow in with ease. He no longer feared the dry spells. Instead, he focused on delivering exceptional work and nurturing his client relationships. He created a positive cycle. As he gave more value, he received more work and more money in return. The more he operated from a place of abundance, the more opportunities came his way. His mindset had shifted, and money followed. You see, money follows energy. If you are always chasing it from a place of desperation or fear, it will always feel out of reach. But when you begin to cultivate a mindset of abundance, gratitude, and self-worth, you will start to see money flowing into your life more easily. Think about it: when you feel good about your finances, you attract more of what feels good. When you appreciate the money you have, no matter how little, you create the space for more to come in. This idea of money as energy is not just about earning more, it's also about managing what you already have. How do you treat your money when it comes into your life? Do you hold on to it with fear, thinking that if you spend it you'll never have enough again? Or do you treat your money with respect, investing in things that will bring you joy, growth, and opportunities? The way you manage your money determines how much more comes your way. If you're constantly in a state of fear or scarcity, you will continue to limit the flow of money. But when you make intentional decisions about how you spend and save, you create more space for money to come back to you. Let's consider the example of Rachel, a young woman in her early 30s who had just landed her first full-time job after college. She was excited about her new salary, but she quickly realized that she wasn't as financially savvy as she'd hoped. She'd been spending impulsively, buying things she didn't need, and not saving as much as she should have. Rachel's mindset was that she'd always be working hard to make ends meet, and she saw money as a source of stress. But as she began to take control of her finances, something amazing happened. She started budgeting, saving a percentage of her income each month, and cutting out unnecessary expenses. She focused on making smart, intentional decisions about her money, rather than living in a constant state of fear and impulsivity. As a result, she found that she wasn't just managing her money better, she was attracting more of it. By respecting the money she had, and treating it with care, she created a positive energy around it that allowed it to grow. Money doesn't just come from hard work, it comes from mindset too. It comes from the way you think about it, talk about it, and treat it. If you're constantly worried about how little you have, you'll continue to attract more of that lack. But if you can begin to shift your mindset, focusing on gratitude, abundance, and self-worth, you'll begin to see money flowing to you in unexpected ways. Opportunities will open up, your work will attract more clients, and you'll make smarter decisions that keep your finances in balance. It's time to stop thinking of money as something that's hard to get or hard to keep. It's time to start thinking of it as an abundant resource that flows to you when you align your energy with it. When you do this, you'll find that not only does money become easier to earn, but it also becomes easier to keep, grow, and use in ways that truly serve you. By shifting your mindset and treating money with respect, you create a financial reality that supports your dreams and goals. Let's talk about money, the energy, the mindset, and the relationship we hold with it. Because here's the truth, money is not just about what you earn, it's about how you manage what you have. It's about your habits, your awareness, and the intention behind every dollar. You don't need a six-figure income to build a six-figure mindset. You need clarity, you need discipline, you need the courage to stop pretending and start taking control. So many people look at their bank account and feel powerless, but it's not the number that holds the power, it's the choices you make every day that shape your financial story. Let me tell you about Nicole. Nicole worked hard. She was a single mom, juggling 2 jobs, doing everything she could to keep her head above water. But every month felt like survival. No matter how hard she worked, the money seemed to disappear. She wasn't reckless, she wasn't wasteful, but like many people, she wasn't fully aware. She wasn't tracking where her money was going. She was making emotional purchases, buying things to soothe stress, to feel a little joy in the chaos. She'd say, "I deserve this," and yes, she did. But what she really deserved was financial peace. What she really deserved was to stop living paycheck to paycheck and start building something solid for herself and her child. And one day it hit her. After overdrawing her account for the 3rd time in a month, she said, "This isn't who I am. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of feeling afraid every time I open my banking app. I want more." And that desire, that was the beginning of her transformation. Not a miracle, not a lottery win, but a decision to change her relationship with money. She started small. She wrote down every expense. She canceled a few subscriptions. She started saying no to impulse buys, even when it was hard. She started using cash envelopes for her weekly spending so she could feel what she was giving away. And as the weeks passed, Nicole began to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time: in control. That's what managing your money does. It gives you back your power. because every dollar has a voice. And when you start directing those dollars with purpose, your money starts working for you instead of controlling you. It's not about being cheap, it's about being aware. It's not about hoarding, it's about honoring what you have and telling it where to go before it disappears. Some people think budgeting is restrictive, but baby, let me tell you, there is nothing more freeing than knowing your bills are paid, your savings is growing, and you don't have to panic when the car breaks down. That's peace, that's freedom, and you don't get there by wishing. You get there by choosing, by being intentional, by being disciplined with what you already have. We live in a world that constantly tells us to spend, spend, spend. Every ad is designed to make you feel like you're not enough until you buy that thing, wear that brand, live that lifestyle. But the real flex, the real power, is being able to walk past temptation and say, I don't need that to feel worthy. You don't need to prove your value with labels, with the latest gadget, or with a car you can't afford. You prove your value by how you treat your future self. Every wise financial decision you make today is a gift you're giving to the woman you're becoming. You want to travel more, save, you want to start a business, budget, you want to get out of debt, sacrifice, not forever but for now, because the short-term discomfort leads to long-term freedom. And let me tell you, freedom feels better than any pair of shoes. Freedom feels better than scrolling through a shopping cart you know you can't afford. Freedom is sleeping at night, knowing your lights will stay on, your rent is paid, and your future is secure. Start looking at money as a tool, not your enemy, not your identity, but a tool. And you are the one who decides how to use it. You are the one who decides if it builds or breaks you. If you want to feel empowered in your life, start by feeling empowered in your finances. Know what's coming in, know what's going out, and stop waiting until it's enough to get serious. Now is the time. Start with what you have, respect it, stretch it, grow it, and let's stop judging people for living within their means. Let's stop glorifying the appearance of wealth and start celebrating the reality of wisdom. The woman who wears the same outfit twice but owns her home, that's wealth. The man who drives a used car but has no debt, that's wealth. The person who packs their lunch every day because they're building a savings cushion, that's wealth. It's not flashy, but it's freeing. So be bold enough to face your money story. Be brave enough to rewrite it. Don't let fear, pride, or guilt keep you stuck. You are not broke. You're just at the beginning of your breakthrough. Speak life over your finances. Speak discipline. Speak wisdom. And most of all, speak possibility. Because it's not about how much you make. It's about how well you manage what you've been given. And when you do that with intention, with faith, with vision, your money begins to multiply. Your stress begins to shrink, and your life begins to align with the abundance that's always been waiting for you. Let's get honest about something that most people don't want to admit. Your mood can be your superpower, or it can be your saboteur. How you feel, your emotional state, can either move your life forward or keep you stuck in cycles of stress, doubt, and self-sabotage. The truth is, we can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. We can choose how we show up in the middle of the storm. And let me tell you, learning to master your mood is one of the most powerful things you'll ever do for yourself. Because here's what happens when you don't. Your emotions start running your life. Someone says something that hurts you. You shut down for the rest of the day. You wake up feeling anxious. You cancel plans, procrastinate, fall behind. A disappointment hits you. You spiral into self-doubt and stop believing in your dreams. And it all starts with a feeling that goes unchecked, unchallenged, and unhealed. But imagine if you flipped that. Imagine if you woke up and instead of being led by your feelings, you led your feelings. You said, yes, I feel overwhelmed, but I'm still gonna show up today. You said, yes, I'm frustrated, but I'm not gonna let that bleed onto the people around me. That's emotional maturity. That's power. That's where freedom begins. I want to share the story of Devon. Devon was one of those people who felt everything deeply. When something went wrong at work, it stayed with her. When someone made a passive-aggressive comment, she replayed it for days. When her plans didn't go as expected, it ruined her whole week. And she didn't realize how much of her life was being dictated by her emotional reactions. She wasn't choosing her life. Her mood was choosing it for her. And it left her feeling like she had no control. But one day, her therapist said something that stuck. You have the power to feel an emotion without becoming the emotion. And that was the beginning of her breakthrough. Devon began to notice her moods. Not judge them, not shame them, but notice them. She started asking herself, Why am I feeling this way? What triggered this? Is this thought helpful, or is it hurting me? And in those little moments of awareness, she started to shift. She began her mornings with a pause, a breath, a grounding practice, maybe a journal entry, a walk, some soft music, something that said, I am choosing my state of mind before the world chooses it for me. And when something triggered her later in the day, she no longer reacted without thinking. She paused, she breathed, she reminded herself, I am allowed to feel, but I do not have to act from this place. And slowly her relationships changed, her work improved, her stress lowered, because Devon was no longer a slave to her emotions, she was the leader of them. And isn't that what we all want? To stop feeling like we're at the mercy of every mood swing, every rude email, every unexpected turn. Let me tell you, your power begins the moment you stop letting your emotions drive the car. They can sit in the passenger seat, they can inform you, but they don't get to take the wheel. You do. Now this doesn't mean you fake it. This doesn't mean you suppress how you feel. This means you honor your emotions without letting them own you. You say, yes, this is hard. Yes, I'm hurt. Yes, I feel angry, disappointed, discouraged. But then you follow it up with, and still I choose peace. I choose to respond, not react. I choose to rise, not retreat. You see, life will always throw things your way. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. You will get tired. You will feel things deeply. But if every time life throws something at you, you allow your mood to sink your day, your week, your vision, then you're giving away your power. Mood mastery is not about perfection, it's about intention. It's about creating rituals that ground you, habits that protect your peace, people who remind you of your truth when you forget it. It's about learning what lifts you and leaning into that when the weight of the world starts to feel too heavy. And it's about having grace with yourself when you mess up, because you will, and that's okay. Growth is not about never slipping. It's about recovering faster, bouncing back stronger, loving yourself through the process. Let me tell you, when you learn to manage your mood, you become unshakable, not because life stops being hard, but because you stop being thrown by every wind that blows. You walk in calm confidence. You make decisions from a place of peace. You create instead of just react. And people will start to notice that about you. They'll feel it, that stillness, that steadiness, that glow. And here's the beautiful part. When you take control of your mood, you inspire others to do the same. You create ripple effects of calm in your home, your workplace, your relationships. You become the example of what it means to live from your center, not from your chaos. You remind people without saying a word that peace is a choice, power is a choice, and that choice begins with you. So today, I want to challenge you. Pause before you react. Breathe before you speak. Reflect before you spiral. Don't give away your power to passing emotions. You are more than your worst moment. You are bigger than your bad day. You are not your mood. You are the master of it. And when you choose peace, you open the door to possibilities you never even imagined. Let quotes talk about something deeply powerful, something that can shift the entire course of your life. The ability to stay silent when silence is strength. Because not everything deserves your reaction. Not every insult needs a clapback. Not every situation needs your words. Sometimes your greatest power is in your restraint, in your ability to pause, observe, and not respond. In a world that's always screaming, always reacting, always fighting to be heard, there is something divinely powerful about a woman who knows when to stay quiet and protect her energy. There is wisdom in knowing the difference between standing up for yourself and wasting your breath. There's a level of maturity that understands not every argument needs your attention, and not every critic deserves your reply. See, silence is not weakness. Silence is not submission. Silence is strategy. When used with purpose, silence says, I know who I am. I don't have to prove myself to you. Think about the times in your life when someone said something rude, something passive-aggressive, something meant to poke at your peace. Maybe it was a coworker throwing shade in a meeting. Maybe it was a friend gossiping behind your back. Maybe it was a partner who used your vulnerability against you, and everything in you wanted to react. You felt that heat rise in your chest, that urge to defend, to explain, to fire back, because we are wired to protect ourselves. But sometimes the most powerful protection isn't in the words you speak, it's in the words you withhold. Let me tell you about Melanie. Melanie worked in a high-stress corporate environment. She was intelligent, confident, and rising fast in her field. But she had a colleague, let's call her Dana, who constantly tried to undermine her. Passive comments in front of leadership, subtle digs during meetings, smiles that didn't match the words. And Melanie at first tried to fight back. She responded to every jab. She tried to set the record straight every single time, but it drained her. It distracted her. It dimmed her light. One day, after yet another confrontation, Melanie's mentor said something simple but life-changing. Don't let her pull you into her chaos. Stay focused, stay elevated. And from that day on, Melanie changed her strategy. When Dana made a slick comment, she smiled and stayed silent. When gossip started circulating, she said nothing and let her character speak. When people asked why she didn't respond, she said, "Because I don't argue with noise." And something amazing happened. People started seeing the truth. They saw Melanie's calm, her grace, her strength. And eventually, Dana's own behavior exposed her. You see, you don't always have to defend your name when your character is already doing. You don't have to waste energy proving your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Let them talk, let them assume, let them underestimate you, and let your life, your fruit, your glow do the talking. Silence is not just about ignoring others, it's about preserving yourself, protecting your peace, because every time you engage in a battle that isn't meant for you, you bleed energy, you lower your vibration, you make yourself available to pettiness that has nothing to do with your purpose, and your purpose is too big to be caught up in drama. Your calling is too sacred to be tangled in unnecessary conflict. You are not here to explain yourself to small minds. You are here to rise, to inspire, to lead. And let's be real, sometimes you need silence not for others, but for yourself. Sometimes you need to sit in the quiet and feel, to process, to hear your own voice again, because the noise of the world can be so loud that you forget what your soul sounds like. You forget what you believe, what you value, what you're building. Silence becomes your reset, your healing space, the place where you reconnect to your truth. Don't be afraid of being misunderstood. Don't be afraid of people making up their own narratives. The people who matter, they know who you are, and the ones who don't, they were never meant to walk closely with you anyway. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be real. You're here to be whole. And that wholeness often requires you to keep your mouth closed and your head held high. So the next time someone tries to bait you into an argument, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? The next time you're tempted to defend your name, your choice, your path, ask, does their opinion change my destiny? If not, let it go. Breathe. Choose silence. Choose elevation. Because not everything that calls your name is worthy of your answer. You are not weak for walking away from foolishness. You are strong because you know your energy is too expensive to waste. You've worked too hard to get to where you are. You've healed too much to go back to where you came from. You don't have time to explain yourself to people who aren't even trying to understand. Silence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care too much about your peace, your growth, your future to waste time on things that do not serve you. Let your silence be your strength. Let your peace be your proof. Let your presence speak so loudly that words are no longer necessary. Because when you learn to hold your silence in moments of madness, you are not avoiding the fight. You are winning it with grace.